Hi there, this is Criterion from Criterion Films, and welcome to another episode of Filmstock. Today I am going to just give my alternative Criterion Collection 40-year anniversary box set. Again, Criterion can do whatever they like, obviously, but I thought I would just give an alternate 40 films that could be in a box set if I was maybe introducing somebody to the Criterion collection. Again, so some of these are DVDs that really should get a Blu-ray update or upgrade, as opposed to just releasing a box set of films already having Blu-ray. But I'm not going to get into what they should have done and all of that, because as I said, they can do whatever they like. This is just a bit of fun. Again, I'm not going to comment on what they've included and what they should have included and all that. This is just my own personal version of what a Criterion Collection 40-year anniversary box set could look like. But again, you could do this a few times to get a different mix. So I've went for sort of a mix. Obviously there might be quite a few Japanese films in here, but never mind. So again, this is I've just done it in spine order, but obviously it's just whatever came to hand. So I'll start off with a trilogy that doesn't get talked about enough, and this is Hiroshi Inagaki, the Samurai trilogy starring Toshiro Mifune. Which is, strange enough, a 3-part film from the mid-50s, and this is spine number 14, 15 and 16, so not necessarily your typical samurai choice, but I think that's a nice way to start the box set with a lovely little trilogy. And then just to give the purchaser an idea that Criterion can do a little bit of everything. So I'm going to put in spine number 18, which is Sam Fuller's The Naked Kiss, from 1964. Again, Sam Fuller, really underappreciated. I do like the colour schemes on these, along with Shot Corridor, the back-to-back spine numbers by Criterion for Sam Fuller. A little bit of rough around the edges, a little bit sleazy, but absolutely fantastic. And then again, as a juxtaposition, spine number 45, Kurosawa's Taste of Cherry, about a man driving around looking for somebody to bury him after he kills himself. Lots of beautiful scenery, and again, this gives the potential buyer of the box set an idea of the world of cinema, as this is from Iran. Then, obviously I'm biased, but I might as well throw in an absolute masterpiece, Black Narcissus by Powell and Pressburger, and I'm doing a Powell and Pressburger double. Spine number 94, I Know Where I'm Going, which, as I've mentioned in several videos, outrageously just on DVD. Not there's anything wrong with DVD, but all Powell and Pressburger films should be on Blu-ray at minimum. And then a bit more contemporary, Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, which is still one of the best films about race relations in film history, from 1989. And then Spine number 132, another film that really needs a Blu-ray upgrade, Peter Medak's The Ruling Class, Peter O'Toole, a wonderful British satire on the class system, obviously. 139, we might as well throw in masterpieces every now and again. So Bergman's Wild Strawberries, the older you get, the more relevant it is. And then for a little bit, something a little bit more, not necessarily avant-garde, but a little bit different, Shinoda's Double Suicide from 1969. Again, this is only on DVD in Criterion, so they could do us a favour and put that up to Blu-ray. Now you've got to have a little bit of controversy in a box set. So 165, Man Bites Dog, again just on DVD in the Criterion collection. I'm not sure it's Blu-ray anywhere. You can let me know if it is, from 1992. A film I actually saw in the cinema. So you've got to have some controversy, I suppose. And then back to back with that, Alain René's Night and Fog, which really should be shown in cinemas before every film. It's only 32 minutes, but blimey, it packs a punch. So you've got to have something educational as well. Number 233, Kurosawa's Stray Dog, again outside of Japan, not on Blu-ray I believe. I have a French Blu-ray with French and Japanese subtitles, but Stray Dog is arguably Kurosawa's finest early film. And then in comparison to that, Kahachi Okamoto's Sword of Doom with Tatsuya Nakadai. Mifune's also in it as well, but Nakadai's the star, 1966, and this is just brutal but also dreamlike. And then again, one for the mainstream audience here, 297, Bresson's Au Hazard Balthazar. That's like a Disney film with a donkey, but Bresson. Another film by one of the underrated masters, Masaki Kobayashi's Samurai Rebellion, with Mifune. Again, this is on DVD only, from 1967. It's a cracker. 377, a relatively recent watch, but this blew me away, by Mikio Naruse. This is When a Woman Ascends the Stairs, starring Hideko Takamine and Tatsuya Nakadai from 1960. This is absolutely phenomenal, and again just on DVD. And then again we're back to, well, not that When a Woman Ascends the Stairs isn't a masterpiece, but this is the greatest resistance film ever made. Jean-Pierre Melville's Army of Shadows has to be in this introductory Criterion Collection 40th anniversary box set. Spine number 385, Army d'Ombres. And then just for a wee bit of comedy, number 459, Louis Buñuel's The Exterminating Angel. A wonderful satire, and, fantastic comedy. You'll be rolling in aisles. Then we're back to arguably in the conversation for the greatest film ever made. Spine number 480, Kobayashi's The Human Condition. I mean, you can't have a box set like this without one of the greatest films of all time, if not the greatest film of all time. And then back to America, just so America doesn't feel left out. Sweet Smell of Success, even though it was directed by an American, Alexander McKendrick. Or was he British? Oh, I'm sure Nazrin Prod will correct me. Sweet Smell of Success, one of the best scripts ever made. This is just the DVD version, but I think Criterion did have a Blu-ray update. And again, for more comedy, Secret Sunshine by Lee Chang-dong from 2007, so I have put some relatively modern films. This is only 17 years old. This is about a poor woman who just goes through hell, as most Shang Dong Li characters do in his films. He does like to punish people, and that's another wonderful little story. So from 2007, let's flip back to 1921 and put a silent film in. This is Victor Sonnström's star of Wild Strawberries. He wrote and directed and stars in The Phantom Carriage. About at the end of the year, Death picks somebody to drive round the Phantom Carriage for the following year. It's an absolutely beautiful film. Speaking of absolutely beautiful films, we're in Russia now. I could have went with quite a few Mikhail Kalatazov films, but I went from 1959 and Letter Never Sent. This is absolutely beautiful, and for anybody who says CGI fire looks good, watch Letter Never Sent. And then a personal one, because this was recommended by my good friend John Sayles. This is number 610. This is Italy, and this is Mario Monicelli's The Organizer, starring Marcello Mastroianni. This is one of arguably the most underrated Criterion title in my collection. From 1963, this is about textile workers in Turin, and Mastroianni turns up to try and help them out as they're having a struggle with the owners. It's funny, it's sad, it's tragic, it's still relevant, as a lot of these films from the past are, unfortunately, because we never learn. And then, proper comedy now, Back to America from 1942, To Be or Not to Be, sadly Carol Lombard's last film, but I'll try not to cry this time. Back to Italy, sort of comedy, but black comedy from 1970. Elio Petri's investigation of a citizen above suspicion with Gian Maria Volonte. Had to get some Volonte and Petri in here. A wonderful score by Morricone. Granted, that's almost a given with Morricone's career, but then we're going to go from Italy to Belgium. 2014, that might actually be the newest film in my alternative Criterion Collection 40 box set. The Dardennes, 2 Days, 1 Night. I just absolutely love this film, with Marion Cotillard as a worker who's been off sick, trying to get back to work. But for her to come back, the company decides the rest of the workers would have to lose their bonus, and she spends 2 days and 1 night trying to convince them to let her come back to work, even though they would lose their bonus. Such a simple story, but something that we can all immediately engage with and hook in. It's just absolutely brilliant. As is the next one. We're back to Italy again. Seems to be quite a lot of Italian in here. 792 is Bitter Rice. This is just the DVD, but there is a Blu-ray Region A, which I'll have to pick up at some point. This is phenomenal, about migratory workers, obviously harvesting rice. Features 2 women, and Vittorio Gassman as one of their sort of boyfriends who turns up and ruins everything. Directed by Giuseppe De Santis, 1949. Absolutely amazing. That's Bitter Rice. And then you can't have a box set like this without some Orson Welles. So Spine number 830 is Chimes at Midnight. Took me a long time to actually see this. It wasn't really available for a long time in a proper kind of version. But this is like a Shakespeare Greatest Hits, featuring about 5 or 6 plays, or 4 or 5 plays, from 1966. One of the greatest battle scenes of all time, and it was just shot in a few hours in a park in Paris. But then that's why Orson Welles is a genius. and everybody else isn't. 862, Canoa, A Shameful Memory. You know, we want to keep this box set upbeat and light. This is just a phenomenal film from 1976, about a mob killing some students who think they're somebody else, and then the ripple effect of that. Just absolutely fantastic. I did a random review of this, as quite a lot of these films have random reviews. Next we're back to masterpiece territory. Spine number 888, you have to have a Tarkovsky, so we're going with Stalker from 1979. And then for the LGBTQ plus, or just people who like really good films, Desert Hearts from 1985, which is a beautiful little film about two women in love. I mean, I've heard about that. Apparently some people seem to think that love exists, but Desert Hearts, I've actually, I mean, this is 85 and I'm sure I saw it not that long after, because I remember picking this up and I haven't seen it for probably decades, and it just felt like I'd watched it yesterday. And then as a lovely companion piece to something perhaps hopeful, Manila in the Claws of Light, which is definitely not hopeful. Lino Brocca's one of his masterpieces from 1975. Guy from a small village goes to the big city and gets abused and confused and used. Absolutely wonderful. Think Capra, but completely the opposite. And then a film that I've championed on the channel for quite a while, you'll probably be sick of me talking about it. Spine number 940, The Ballad of Gregorio Cortez, starring Edward James Olmos. Absolutely beautiful film from 1982, all about mistranslation and not understanding each other, not understanding somebody's perspective from a different culture. Again, that's completely irrelevant, isn't it? And 983 for me in the conversation, along with Human Condition, for perhaps the greatest film ever made, certainly greatest visual film ever made, perhaps. Bondarchuk's Insane War and Peace from 1966-67 in all its 422 minute glory. A film that will just never be repeated. You know, they built half of Moscow and then set it on fire. He got to use the entire Russian army as extras. The state emptied like 58 museums so they could get the props right for the period, all because the Russians hated King Vidor's version with Audrey Hepburn and Henry Fonda. Yeah, a completely insane film. Bondarchuk had like 2 heart attacks during making it, and how he did make it is just insane. So from War and Peace to more Union breaking war, you know I had to put one of them in. It's John Sayles' Matewan. I did well not to put Lone Star in as well, but I've just went with Matewan from 1987. Absolutely beautiful, great Axel Wexler cinematography. Now I'm not going to forget the golden age of Hollywood. You've got to have some American films in here. George Cukor's Holiday, again a film that I'd never really heard of or seen until got the Criterion, which is one of the joys of Criterion. Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant. As I've said before, completely predictable, completely by the numbers, but it doesn't matter, because when you've got star power, it doesn't matter how predictable a film is. Just absolute gold. I literally could watch this once a week and never get tired of it. And then next, if you're going from holiday and the joy and the good feeling that makes you, you might as well then go to Ian Klimoff's devastating 1985 film Come and See. Klimoff gave up filmmaking after this. You can see why. Absolutely brutal. Just tremendous. And one of the few Criterion releases that are Region A and Region B. This was long awaited. There's always rumours that Criterion were going to release it, and when they finally did, more people actually got to see its devastation. And then we can't leave India out, so I've put inside it Ray's Devi. Obviously I could put in the Apple trilogy or the Music Room or Charulata, which is one of my personal favourites, but I put in 1960s Devi, which is probably one of the underrated ones, about a father who thinks his daughter-in-law is a reincarnation of a goddess. And then finally, I think that's 40. It might not be. I've probably done 41 because you know what I'm like. Finally, again, another film that I was so glad finally got a proper release, first by imprint in Australia, and then it got a 4K and Blu-ray from Criterion. It's Carol Franklin's 1992 masterpiece, One False Move, Bill Paxton's finest hour and a half, Billy Bob Thornton and Michael Beach. Absolutely beautiful, neo-noir, fairly horrible as well in places. Another film that I actually saw in the cinema, can you believe it? Great score, great cinematography, absolutely beautiful, has something to say. One of the best American, or remember the 90s for American independent cinema. Wow, what a decade. So thanks very much for watching. That's my, or a version of an alternative Criterion 40 anniversary box set. Again, it's just a bit of fun. In the UK, the Criterion 40 box set's £426 or something, £450, something like that. I won't be buying it, spoiler alert. I think I've got 28 out of the 40 films on Blu-ray, and I think I've got another 5 or 6 in my backlog. So I'll be giving it a miss, but let me know if you plan to spend that huge investment. I mean, I suppose you could buy it and then sell your single titles and have them all in the one place, but obviously they won't have their individual cases and booklets and things like that. I don't know whether you're just expected to have them already and then buy the box as well, but certainly I won't be purchasing it. So thanks very much for watching. You can let me know without too much abuse what you think of my alternative Criterion Collection 40 box set, which ones you have and which ones you would like to see. By all means, list your 40 that you would like to see in a box set that are already in the collection. Yeah, we're not going to do a Criterion collection of possible films that we would love to see in a box set, because we've probably got about 2,000 of them. So thanks so much for watching. Again, this is just a bit of fun. Hopefully Criterion Collection don't sue me. So this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, hoping the Criterion Collection doesn't sue me, saying farewell.